Alright, got a real estate inspection today. First thing we do, gear up. For all you young techs out there, wear your knee pads. Your knees don't last you. Alright, so I like to come in, look at the vents, look for any potential growth or any vents that are damaged or closed off. Also look at the direction that they're facing, make sure that they're facing the right direction to get the best heat load. Like this one's swapped around backwards and partially closed. That's going to affect the airflow, and then it should be pointing usually towards an exterior wall to wash that heat load in that room. Same thing for this one. So we got the glass windows there. You really want that facing that direction. It's also partially closed. Gas water heater, laundry room, got a vent in here. Exterior door. Try to eyeball the weather seals as well. Make note that we got a fireplace. Those are always really bad for infiltration. Vent. Everything's freshly painted. Looks like they did like a little remodel here. Wow. Oh, I'd remove that. Good Lord. Okay, the closet. That's gonna be uncomfortable. Exhaust in here. An operable window, so you get away with it and get it grandfathered in. Got two vents in here, still no exhaust, but they got an operable window. Got a vent, also going the wrong direction. Whenever they painted these ceilings, somebody that didn't know any better probably took it down, went ahead and painted everything, and then put it back up. Looks like they probably put new vent covers. The old ones were probably pretty rough shape. Got our attic access here. Like a double stack 20 by 20 return. Got our thermostat. Even kind of painted over the thermostat. Make it white, everything white. Other vent. And last room here. Looks like got a detached garage, little breezeway. Should just be a closet. Yep, filter's good. Let's go ahead and see what our filters look like. We're definitely doing some painting and stuff. Still got some here in the filter. 20 by 20s, got two of them. A lot of particulate and dust. You can see particulate and dust build up in the plenum up there too. Not extremely sealed, especially around the studs and everything. We'll look at it up there too. Alright, so I'm going to heat things up a little bit first. Make sure our furnace and everything turns on. Also give us some heat load to use whenever we're running our AC. Make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Looks like they got a new attic ladder. Definitely need a coil cleaning. A wall of dirt there. See what we got. Look at that. Somebody measured static. Sweet. Usually after a roof's done, no one ever comes and cleans this stuff off. You got roof decking chips everywhere. You definitely don't want it on your furnace, because it does get a little warm. I'm not saying anything would happen, but an ounce of prevention, right? Gas line, got no sediment trap. You got a float switch on your overflow. P-trap, this is a positive pressure drain, and they've got a P-trap on this system with a cap before the P-trap, which is not exactly proper. Ducts are somewhat supported, and some kinks. Looks like they've had like a couple of little repairs done. You can see the insulation washed out on that one. Yeah, it's not the worst. I've seen it where they're not supported at all and just laying everywhere. Cellulose insulation throughout. The problem after, or that we find quite often after remodels and retrofits of houses, they don't keep up with the filters real good during that time. Then you get a lot of buildup like this all inside your system. So that fine particulate is like sheetrock dust, paint, and it's everywhere. It's all throughout the blower. We saw earlier that the coil's pretty dirty, and also with these old furnaces, these doors are not very well sealed. You can see where the air's been tracking in, where those dust spots are. These are just sheet metal doors too, no insulation. Even inside here too, these old builder's grade furnaces, that's just straight up sheet metal, and it's installed in your attic most of the time. This attic in the summertime easily can get 120, 140, 160 degrees on average in the summertime. And so that heat is just, permeating through this equipment. So your air comes through your filter in your return, up through here, and then it goes through this. This is what moves all the air. So if it's having to go through this hot box before it gets to your system too, you could pick up a little bit of that heat, which is heating up your air before it goes over here to get conditioned. And that's going to also affect the performance and the overall efficiency of your air conditioning system. So all these little things add up and can contribute to bigger issues. Also, you can see the return, is partially collapsed right there. That's ductboard on the inside. Whenever that collapses like that, you can have that ductboard start coming apart, and those fibers start releasing more into your airstream, which can clog your coil. And also it's just kind of an irritant because it's fiberglass, and then it was never really that well sealed around the edges, way back when. Looks like they did go around, some of these joints with some mastic airlock, but you've got people that have come in and serviced it and put like real big holes. He put a plug, which is good, but then others just stab their, thermometers right into your ductwork, creating little holes and everything. And then the equipment itself doesn't help because, as we can see, it's not very well sealed. You can see that dirt tracking where it's pulling attic air in too. And even on the inside of here, look, we've got a little hole just wide open around your electrical connections too. These are not sealed, so air can just travel right in there. This is under a negative pressure, so it's got a vacuum in there and it's just pulling air in around all these little spots. And so this 140, 160 degree air that's actually extremely humid too, because we're in Houston, is being pulled into your system to be conditioned by your air conditioner, and you're wasting capacity on that. Check our capacitor here. 10 microfarad. Alright. Time you take electrical connections off, I always like to retighten them a little bit and inspect them. Make sure you got no cracks or anything in here, because that can create some issues. Then you want to also do the tug test. Alright, let's see how our outdoor unit's doing. '18 model. Record our model serial number. 4 tons. Looks like we've got a surge protector on our disconnect box here. That sounds super healthy. I have to inspect my electrical connections here. So they've got this surge protector double tapped on the load side here of the disconnect, which I see as common practice, but from what I understand with National Electric Code, that is not very kosher. What's up, little guy? Okay, bye-bye. Picture of my charging chart. Existing condition of wires, components. Not a big fan of running that through there unprotected. 4575. Take note of your wires. Back up to a common. A little weak on the compressor side. And on the fan side. So we've got a tolerance of 10%. It's 4 40.5 on that one, 40.5, and we were at 40.9, barely. And then 6.8 on there, 7.5, 6.75, 6.75, and 6.8. So just barely within tolerance on that 10%. Once again, anytime you take your connections off, inspect them, give them a little tighten. Tug test. Good. Alright, got a contactor here. A little bit of pitting, some black residue, nothing too crazy. Normal wear and tear. Alright, good and tight. Sometimes you'll find these things overheated, splits in them. Looks good. Check out the cleanliness of our coils. You can see through them, not too bad. Light layer of dust, some grass, nothing too crazy. The indoor coils definitely need a good cleaning though. You gotta look for that hot spot that train has. It's always leaking down there. And a lot of times you'll see oil and residue and everything, which I do not see, which is good. It's regular condensation from our suction line. Give it an inspection inside too. So you don't have a whole lot of buildup. Inspect your fan blades, any cracks. Inspect your motor, any signs of wear. Looks good. You get an amp draw on your components. Compressor, fan, and you want to know what your components are rated at too, so you want to check your nameplates. Don't always rely on the nameplate on your unit too, because you could have had one of these components be replaced with an aftermarket that has different ratings, so you always want to look at the actual component itself. So in this case it's rated at 0.93 amps. Actually pulling a little bit higher, but also our capacitor is weak. And our common is within spec. They don't like that imbalance though. I'm going to check our refrigerant pressures. We got some leak under that Schrader there. See it bubbling up. Definitely got a little bit of pressure there. We'll make good contact, accurate readings. Handy dandy Measure Quick app. Your manufacturer specs at your leisure here. Okay. Is this R22? No, 410A. Okay. 309. Let's see what we have outside today here. Deer Park, Texas, about 82 degrees. Let's confirm what we have exactly here as well. Which that acclimates. Let that finish acclimating. According to our weather data, it's about 82 out. End up being around 85, so. Okay, liquid temp, 98, 308, 90 degrees, 209, 8. The subcoolant is pretty much on par. We've got 90 degrees on our liquid line, liquid temp, 90 degrees. About 308 on our PSI, 309. Design subcooling about 8 degrees, 7.6. These things usually have a plus or minus 1 degree as well. So 12 degrees superheat, 7.6 subcool. Pretty much on point. Outdoor temp, yeah, about 85, 85. Liquid pressure is still about 307 through 10 in between here. Yeah, so pretty much on point on each of these charts here. Let me go ahead and check our performance as well. Okay, we're going to be about 85. See what our wet bulb is. And see what that corresponds to on our pressure. Pressure is running about 110. Check what our wet bulb is to get that cross reference there.